I prefer not to be addressed as an artist siguro for some small reason lang naman, because like I said, the word artist carries with it such a burden. I would rather be known as a painter. Maybe it has more modest expectations as that of a full-time artist siguro. And I've chosen a path where I have mainly restricted myself to working with paint and doing easel paintings. So in that sense, I would rather be known as an easel painter, a painter. Hi, I'm Marcel Antonio, and I'm a Filipino painter. Yung lolo ko ang nagbigay sa akin ng name na Marcel. And that is according to my mom. And apparently, my lola was a great fan of Marcel Duchamp. But when I was growing up, that name gave me a lot of problems because most people would think it was a girl's name. So tapos the way I looked at that time, I was wearing talagang really long bangs and I looked like a girl. So people were calling me Nene or Marcela or Marcelina. Not really yung proper name ko na Marcel. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of trouble explaining to them, no, it's just Marcel, not Marcelo, not Marcela. So yun na nakakatawa dun eh. So I guess I came to love my name na lang later on when I was, I've used it as my sign name sa paintings. So I guess I'm comfortable with it now. Well, I grew up, like you said, in an environment in which initially my mom wasn't painting at that time. It was only my dad. It was only later that my mom decided to pick up painting. But the environment that I grew up with was replete with everything that an artist probably would imagine. It was a very encouraging environment for me. And I first learned to handle crayons. And of course, everybody would say na mas nauna ka pang mag-drawing before you even know how to write. Pag bata ka, you're very impressionable, di ba? Yung first time ko nakita yung painting ni Chagall, A Poet in Recluse yata yung title na yun. Is this, tinatanong ko sarili ko at that time, is this how the world looks like? Diba? Does this world exist? I'm thinking, somewhere out there, there's this place that looks exactly like that. That kind of fantasy na pagbata ka. When I entered UP, I guess it was an exciting time then because politically speaking, darating yung EDSA revolution. At the time, there was much experimentation with the revival of figures in painting, yung tinatawag na New Expressionist movement, and the death of painting per se, so and so forth. Also, the music was fantastic, diba? Yung 80s music, new wave and punk. So you can just imagine all these things going on at the same time. No? It was a great time to be an artist during the 80s. It was certainly during my early years at UP. I had this invite from CCP to mount a show. So I was surprised because I guess I was the only one amongst my peers or classmates who was able to mount a first show sa CCP. I was the first one, I believe. And it was a great honor for me. I can't imagine why yung Harlequin would appeal that much sa mga Filipino collectors ko. It's a very interesting character, visually speaking. The way he is represented with yung mga checkered patterns, very colorful. No? But to me, he was more than that. He was more than yung visual candy, yung eye candy, and also as a trickster figure in Commedia dell'arte, which he hails from. I like representing, or I like heroes like that. No? They're more of yung, not really anti-heroes, but they're more of yung counterpart to what I think a hero should be. And to me, yung mga tricksters, they really make the world go round. That's why, as a subject, the Harlequin is closer to my heart. When I was conversing with my dad, we share a lot of ideas actually. He comes to me with a certain idea, sa tingin niya would interest me, and one of them would be yung love of devices, mga pictorial devices. No? So yeah, I got yung idea of working with grids from him, but it's not really a new in fact, it comes with yung art studies sa advertising, yung rule of thirds, di ba? Idea ng grid helped me to navigate yung composition logically, if not mathematically. I decided that the best way for me is really to go at it straight on canvas na. It helps me a lot to work yung kumbaga full frontal na approach because most of the time pag ginagawa ko on paper tapos i-transpose ko on canvas, there's a lot that's lost in translation with the small study. So I like the idea na yung first impulse ko kailangan straight to canvas kagad, and I work things out from there. That's why my paintings are so varied. Wala siyang fixed na subject matter. Sometimes I work that way. Sometimes pag yun nga, katulad sinabi ko, yung I just get a dream dictionary and whatever book I have. Sometimes it's a text. Yung impulse ko would be a text. If it's not a visual image na nakita ko, it could be a word or phrase. So yun, I just go ahead, attack the canvas. Hindi ko dapat sinasensure. So whatever it is, atake na kagad yan. Then I sort things out. It's a little game that I play with myself. Meron akong dream dictionary, which babaliktarin ko yan. I'll open a page at random, and I will choose 3 scenarios or words from that dream dictionary. And I will try to work with those ideas now. Make it work in some way na, not really to make sense, but to find some kind of yung meaningful existence. Because that's what we lack right now. Masyado tayong inundated with information. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact na what is the meaning of all these, no? Diba? There's so much information, kaya nga siguro people are struggling to find yung truth in the age of post-truth. We invent our own meanings. Dalawa lang daw yung greatest enemy to human happiness, pain and boredom. And I choose to grapple with boredom. I guess for the most part, when you see a Marcel, hindi yung typical that yung mga paintings like these, what's happening in the painting, di ba? What are they doing? Gusto ko sinasagutin, they're doing nothing. People actually doing nothing, but they seem to be doing something. And I guess yung isang writer, si Duffy, tinawag niyang anti-narratives yung mga painting, mga works ko. So I can't blame them. People can read anything into my works naman. So it's open. It's an open reading naman yung mga works. You can read it any way you like. But I like the idea of anti-narrative. Because yun nga once a work leave your studio, wala na the author is dead. Sabi ni Roland Barthes, di ba? Wala ka ng control doon. Well, let me get this straight. Yung paintings naman, they're not like literature na merong, di ba? Beginning, middle, and end. You can actually read the story. It's a picture is a snapshot of something frozen in time. So I'm not so sure na pictures actually tell that kind of storytelling. It's always about yung sentiment. It's always about yung first impulse. So when I started painting, the first impulse na I look for is I suppose medyo corny pero love. Meron bang love angle ito, di ba? Meron bang tension between two people? That's always the first impulse that I'm trying to pursue. Art has given me the freedom to be myself. I realize na artists, ang swerte ng mga artists who had that freedom to be themselves. So, yun ang take away ko dun eh. It has given me the freedom to be myself.